Here we are for take 2 of today's video. I managed to mess up the end of take 1, and I tend to do everything all in one take if I possibly can. So that's what I'm going to do, and I wanted to ask my students what the most important part of government is. Well, according to Alexis De Tocqueville, when he came to visit the United States in what I believe to be the early 1800s, the answer to that was that there wasn't any. That isn't really strictly true. But that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to, in a piece I've titled Topsy, Turvy on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I am Kurt, and it is Friday, the 9th of April of 2021. Happy to have you here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube, or wherever else you happen to be here from. As I say, today's subject is Topsy-Turvy, and I wanted to point out something that I think is really significant. Back in the days of De Tocqueville, when he came to the United States, and by the way, he was quite a young man, so for his age, he was really very astute. He was really very cogent and very well versed in various things that he addressed and dealt with, and got to very well to the point in a lot of regards. One of the things that he noticed in American society was this almost total lack of government in the day-to-day workings of just average, everyday people. Look, it's been pointed out by many and many times, right, that, and this is particularly true among conservatives, right? Government is supposed to serve the people, not vice versa. That's how that's supposed to work. What people appear to miss, though, is the top-down view of government is literally inverted or topsy-turvy. I heard a local conservative talker on the radio not too long ago preparing to discuss the question, should state government work with their leaders in national government? It was at that point that it struck me just how backwards the view toward government by many people, including this individual accidentally or on purpose, actually is. The federal government is in no sense the leadership of the state legislature or other state authority. They're not. National government is put in place at the behest of the people, and that includes the states, by the way, as well, though this has been broken for quite a long time, considering the popular election of senators, which has been occurring for quite a while now. All government is supposed to exist to serve the people of the country. State government is intended to have more authority than the government of the country at large. Municipal government should have more authority than state government, and the people should be the final authority. Now, to be clear, right, there are some pieces of this process that have to kind of exist in a way that maybe you realize but you overrate. You have to have laws, and you have to have people enforcing those laws, and you have to have people beholden to those laws. That all having been said, the most important consideration is that the people are the authority in the country, and the power should go down from there, not up. Municipalities should be the next most powerful thing to people themselves. State or cities, counties, and that sort of thing. States should be next up, and the federal government should be, for the most part, at the very bottom of the list. Who's in charge of government? You are. I know Dan Bongino would be not upset at me, but he would say it was a mistake of me to point my finger, but I'm going to do it again. You are in charge of government. You, in fact, really are government. Your government. Those people doing anything else, they work for you. They work for you. And I don't care if you're, quote, paying for them through your taxes or not. The point is, government is a thing over which you have authority, not vice versa. Again, the laws aside, you have to obey laws. But the point is, we've got this view that is absolutely topsy-turvy at this point. We're literally looking at government, and we're acting like government ought to be telling us what to do and saving us from our problems. That's not what government is there for. Government is there for orderly transactions to occur. And even that we have to be careful about. We don't want people stealing from each other. We don't want people infringing on one another's rights. But here's the thing. If you say that my life infringes on your liberty, I have news for you. I win. I win, as a rule. My life infringing on your liberty means not that you should take my life, but that you should find a way to get your liberty back, if that's something that's reasonable in the first place. If you've done something that causes your liberty to be taken, well, that's kind of your problem to some degree. Now, in my opinion, you should have your liberty, and it should be taken away, if anything, for a short period of time for the most part, because that's something we might have to do in order to keep you from infringing on the rights of others. If you go around robbing people, you're taking away their life, potentially, their liberty, possibly, and certainly their pursuit of happiness. For your liberty to be taken for that purpose, I can understand. Here's the point, though. Here's the real point. Government doesn't work the way people think it does, and de Tocqueville saw this. He walked around in America, and he saw that in America, excuse my little noisiness there, he saw that in America, there was this tendency to all but ignore government until you absolutely had to deal with them, right? People went around transacting business. They talked to one another. They dealt with one another, and largely they dealt with one another equally. There were, of course, issues with African Americans, particularly slaves who were taken from Africa and brought to the Americas. There were definitely issues for what were called at the time the red men, the Indian, the Native Americans, right? There were definitely issues there. And I hope, for the most part, though I know that in certain instances this is not the case, I hope that we've overcome that, and I hope that we continue to work towards that being the case, towards overcoming our issues, our differences, and treating each other on a level of equality. And let me just tell you something. I am not one who will agree with the idea that the answer to discrimination is more discrimination. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Neither of the people who are currently being discriminated against, or of those who are not being discriminated, or even who are being discriminatory at this point. What we need to do is work toward living in a world where discrimination ceases, not where we transfer discrimination from one to another. This is a ridiculous concept. The only way things are going to get better for everybody is for us to decide for everybody that all these things need to go away. It's the only way. I don't have another answer for that. All of this having been said, though, what de Tocqueville noted, definitely correctly so, is that the government of the United States was truly in the hands of the people. It really was. And this has shifted in the course of time because people have allowed individuals who think that they have the right to do so to take control of a country over which they don't have the kind of authority that they think that they do. The way the Constitution lays things out, there are a limited set of things that the national government is supposed to do. Whether it's the president, whether it's the legislature, whether it's the judicial branch of the government, there are a limited set of things that they're supposed to do. And all other things are reserved to the states and the people. How's that? And that's typically down through, right? So the states should be deferring to the people on anything that they don't specifically have authority over, just like the federal government. And municipalities, or to municipalities, if you will, and municipalities should be deferring to the people on things that they don't have or need authority over. And the most powerful government anywhere should be, and I'm going to point again, you. Okay? It's you. And the next most powerful thing would be municipal, like city or county or similar government. And the next most powerful, so we're going down, should be state. And the next most powerful, the least powerful of the lot, should be the federal government. And this is what I want for you to understand. We've got a topsy-turvy model that we're looking at right now. It's badly broken. Forgive my son. He's enjoying himself today, having the day off of an actual classroom and sitting at home. So he's making a lot of noise, and I hope that you can deal with that. I can. It's not a problem for me particularly. But anyway, That all having been said, I really kind of need to wrap things up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, this has been the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I am your host. I'm Kurt. Today is Friday, the 9th of April, 2021, and today we've been talking about Topsy-Turvy, government turned upside down. And tomorrow, on Saturday, the 10th of April, 2021, we are going to talk about who's paying. And this is kind of looking at things from a slightly different perspective than what we were before. You have to ask yourself, particularly in the public sector and somewhat in the private sector, how is it that daycares and daycare workers and teachers and administrative staff of schools are so undervalued based on what we're seeing? And we need to talk about that, and we need to ask the question, who's paying? And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay, I hope you're having a good day. I'm having an okay day here. Again, I'm spending the day with my son, but I'm moving towards the weekend like all of us are. And I hope things are going well for you. Again, we're going to do another daily summation tomorrow, and hopefully we will see you then. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Friday, the 9th of April of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.